A very good afternoon to all of you. I am Dr. Kumar Parag, and today I will be discussing class 9 book Beehive. In that one, the chapter 10, I am going to discuss with you all. So I hope that you are going to enjoy this chapter. This chapter name is Kathmandu and it is written by Vikram Seth. Now, before telling about the chapter or about the content of the chapter, that what is the chapter or the story is all about, let me first give you the brief background of it. Now, first, he was born in 20th June 1952. He is a very famous English writer and he has written travelogues. He is a famous travelogue writer, novelist, poet, and he has written memoirs, etc. Now, the extract from which the Kathmandu is taken, it is taken from Heaven Lake Travel through Sankiang and Tibet, written in 1983. So this was the background which is not there in the book, but just for your information, I am giving this background to you, that this is the brief background that from where the extract was taken. Now, before again, a brief background is there that when he was a student, exchange student in Nanjing University, then he wrote this book. It was written in 1983 and he traveled from Nanjing to Delhi, and in between he took a stopover to Kathmandu. And for this book, he was also given a Thomas Cook Travel Book Award. For that book is there from where this extract is taken. Now, first of all, it is a travelogue writing. What is a travelogue? Travelogue is there, for example, the person or the writer visits that particular place and he tries to discuss the place in detail, but he is not giving his own ideas. It is based on his own observation. He sees galaxy of people, and on that basis he makes his observation, and the observation is in form of a book. Transcultural identity, this is the most important part when we do discuss travelogue. The reason, because the transcultural identity here means that the identity of the people who are living, because it is not that only the ethnic people are living in that particular city. There are many other people from different ethnic backgrounds are living in that particular city. So it is the transcultural identity which is discussed in this chapter. Social space, that how the people perform within the limit of the social space which they have, the limit they have, and in that one, the society in which they are living, for example, how they behave, what is their behavior with others, how they are living, whether they are liking, disliking. So all those things are discussed. Spiritual journey. Now, in reference to Kathmandu, when we are talking about Kathmandu in particular, here he is talking, it is more of a spiritual journey, because he is going to discuss two sacred places which he visited while he was in Kathmandu. Now, this was an unconventional journey back to his home in Delhi. As I've already told you, he wanted to come back to his home, but instead of taking flight directly from China, he took the flight to Nepal, and from Nepal he came to Delhi. So he started from China, then he visited Kathmandu, the capital of Nepal. Now, when he was there, for example, in Kathmandu, he visited Pashupatinath temple, the most sacred place for Hindus, and Buddhnath stupa for Buddhists. Now, in detail, it is like a comparison also of the two religion. When we are talking about the Pashupatinath temple and the Buddhnath stupa, so he visited this the place because it was the most sacred place for Hindus, and many of the Hindus do travel to this place just to get blessed from Lord Shiva. And then at the same time, the people who are practicing Buddhism, they also visit the Buddhanath stupa to get the blessing of Lord Buddha. Now, when we are talking about this one, you are going to find in the slide that I have written a tourist attraction, but also a religious journey to find his own inner self. Now, here the author, the writer Vikram Seth, tries to explore himself, that who I am. as a human being, whether what is my performance in the society or in the place wherever he is written. Though it was a tourist attraction, but it is there that he wanted to know about himself as a human being, from where he belonged. Because when we do talk about Vikram Seth in particular, it is there that he was an atheist, he was an unbeliever, but at the same time he was born in a Hindu family, so he had a curiosity to see that how he is, how when he was born and brought up, for example, he was a Hindu. So he wanted to see the religion and the people, how they explored themselves. So those things are discussed in this chapter. Now, this is the image of Pashupatinath temple, which I have taken from Google, and this is the temple which I have. The picture is there. Similarly, this is the Buddhnath stupa. The picture of Buddhnath stupa is there, and you can easily find on the website. Now, at the Pashupatinath temple, when you are going to start the chapter, you are going to find that he has given in particular that at Pashupatinath, outside which a sign proclaims entrance for the Hindus only. Now, this particular line is very important because Vikram Seth maybe was a kind of a critique that why it is that the Hindus are only given access to this temple. Why not the people from other religion? Maybe because the people are coming for tourism. So maybe when the people from other religion, if they are going to enter the temple, it is going to be there that the crowd may be unmanageable, or the people who are there for worship only, they may get disturbed. So that may be a thing that is there, that is the reason is there that the Pashupatinath temple was at the entrance of the Pashupatinath temple, this line was written, entrance for the Hindus only. At the same time, just for your information, this book was written in 1983. At that time, Nepal was a Hindu state. It was, but later, I think in 2015, I guess they have declared themselves as a secular state by an act of parliament. This particular portion you are not going to be finding in the book. The reason because it was written in 1983, but later in 2015, but the book is still being prescribed in your syllabus. Just for your information, it is there that we are talking about that. I am just giving you the information that now it is a secular state like India. Earlier, they have categorically stated that Nepal is a Hindu state. Now, when he is talking about religion, naturally he is also talking about the Nepalese economy. Why he is talking about the economy? Because on these religious journeys, the whole of the Nepalese economy depends on whether the Buddhist or the Hindus or vice versa when they are traveling to Kathmandu. So you are going to find a lot of hotels there, lot of tourism, taxis and those things, because the whole of the economy is dependent on the religious journeys taken by Hindus and Buddhists. At the same time, he found a huge crowd at the entrance temple, and he appreciated it, and he was surprised by the level of devotion because he was an atheist. Atheist means non-believer. Now, he found huge crowd at the entrance of the temple because it was new. It was not new to him, but he appreciated it because the level of people, the determination, the devotion which the Hindus have to Lord Shiva. So that he discussed in it, because here if we see Vikram Seth, because he was a Stanford scholar, so for that reason he was trying to show this perspective to his Western readers. So that's why he has written that there was a huge crowd at the entrance of the temple, and he was surprised by the level of devotion, because a lot of foreigners do get surprised that how these people, or they go miles and miles just to get themselves blessed. So those things he has described in this particular chapter. Now, this is an extract from the chapter. To make it easy, you are going to find it in the book itself. I get a cheap room in the center of the town and sleep for hours. The next morning, with Mr. Shah's son and nephew, I visit the two temples in Kathmandu that are most sacred to Hindus and Buddhists. Now, why he has started with these lines? I get a cheap room. The word he has used, the cheap room, the reason because at that time he was a student, he cannot afford a high-end hotel. So for that reason, he has used the word cheap room, and he has deliberately taken the room in the center, in the city center, so that from there he can see the whole of Kathmandu, or he can get the feel of whole of Kathmandu. And at the same time, he called, it was Mr. Shah's son and nephew, because these people were helping him to see the sacred places in Kathmandu as well as the whole city. So he wanted to get the history of the particular city. So that's why he took help from Mr. Shah's son and nephew. Now, there are so many worshippers that some people trying to get the priest's attention are elbowed aside by others pushing their way to the front. When we do talk, when you are going to see these lines, it is that he tries to show the Indian subcontinent or the South Asian countries the level of devotion. And here he, in a way, is criticizing the superstition which is there in Hinduism. Superstition, because we have in our mind, for example, that if we are going to be at the front, and in front, if we are there, then the God is going, there will be a direct connection with the God, and the God is going to bless us. If we are at the back, the God is not going to bless us. So those things he is trying to show or depict while writing this particular chapter. So that is the reason is there that he is using these words are there. So he, in a way, he is showing the superstition of the Hindus, and according to him, we should not indulge in superstition, because it is a very common habit in temples which are in India also, that people push their way in front so that they can directly connect with God. That is not the case. If you are at the back also, the God is equally going to bless you. Another thing I have, when you are going to read this particular chapter, you are going to find the line, a princess of the Nepalese royal house appears, everyone bows and makes way. Again, this book was written in 1983. It was not written in 2018 or 2020 or 2017. At that time, royalty was there in Nepal, like in Thailand, like in England, like in Spain. But now royalty is totally absent. It is like a typical state like India, where you have a president, you are a prime minister. It is a secular state. Now royalty is totally absent. Otherwise, before in 1983 or till 2005 or 6, I guess, there everything was decided by the king. Even the prime minister, who will be the prime minister, it was the king who used to it was the prince, or it was the king who used to invite him to become prime minister, and he had the right to dismantle the government. But after 2007 or 8, I guess, it was that the royalty was abolished from Nepal. Again, some lines from the book is there that by the main gate, a party of saffron-clad Westerners struggle for permission to enter. The policeman is not convinced that they are the Hindus. Now, only Hindus are allowed in the to enter the temple. Now, when these lines are there, for example, in the book, this means that whosoever is there, that the policeman was confused that really they were these are Hindus or not. So that's why the Westerners were not allowed. In a way, Vikram Seth criticizes this kind of an act. The reason because he says that every person from every religion should be allowed to enter the temple, so that they can get the feel of the religion and they can appreciate the religion. Now, he again talks about the superstition. For example, a small shrine half protrudes from the stone platform on the river bank. When it emerges fully, the goddesses inside will escape, and the evil period of the Kalyug will end on earth. So here it is a myth. This is a myth. For example, he is talking about this place, the reason because a small shrine was there, that the people believe in it. But there is no scientific evidence that if the goddess is going to escape, really the Kali Yuga is going to end. You are going to get it into in the mythological books, but scientifically this is not proven. So deliberately he has written these lines in the chapter or in the book so that the people can interpret with their scientific mind. Now, this was the description of the Hindu temple Pashupatinath. Now, he then visits the Buddhanath Stupa, the Buddhist shrine of Kathmandu, and it was there. In contrast, a kind of stillness was there. Why he has used the word stillness? The reason because less crowd was there. Now, we have to understand that Hinduism is practiced by large number of people, and Buddhism is not practiced in that manner as far as Nepal is concerned. So for that reason, you are not going to be finding many people there. At the same time, he is discussing that how that particular shrine, the economy of Nepal is dependent. So that's why he has written that when he's describing the temple, it is not that he's describing only the structure of the temple, he is describing what is going around the temple. For example, small shops stand on the outer edge. Many are owned by Tibetan immigrants. Now, why he has used the word Tibetan immigrants? Because he wanted to show that Kathmandu is a multicultural society. It is not the Hindus, the Nepali Hindus are dominating Nepal, but there are other people from different culture are living in Nepal. So he tries to show the multicultural approach of that particular society, and he's trying to show that mostly the Tibetan immigrants are in business. For example, in Nepal, they are selling bags, artificial jewelries, those things are there. But there are no crowds, and he's again stressing that there is no crowd. The reason because he was living in Stanford, and he wanted the place which should be quiet and he can explore himself. So he found that Buddhanath Stupa is more suitable for him than Pashupatinath temple. It is up to the author that it is his interpretation is there. We cannot say anything about it. So he found that the meditativeness which he found in Buddhanath Stupa is more in comparison to the temple he has visited. Now, here he is also talking about the busy streets around. Here the same thing is there, that he was born and brought up, his hometown is Delhi, for example, and he knew it very well. And the same thing he is describing, that like any other city of India, Kathmandu is also the same. You have busy streets around the temple. Now, this is the description of the city. Now, this is the most important part, that Vikram Seth has not restricted himself only in the description about the religious journey or the temples and shrine. Yes, the city is totally dependent on religion, for example. That's why the tourism is generated, and that's why the people are earning their living. They are able to earn their living. But at the same time, he is also describing Kathmandu as a city also. Okay, it is there that he is using the word religious. You are going to find that small shrines are there, deities are there, narrow and busiest streets are there. Somebody is selling fruit, somebody is selling flute, somebody is selling a postcard, shops are there, Nepali antiques are being sold. So those things are there. Why he is describing Kathmandu like that? The reason because he again is trying to compare Nepal with India, that mostly in all the South Asian cities, the situation is the same. If you are going to come to Nepal, it is not much different when we are talking about India as a country or any other country like Bangladesh or something like that. So he is talking about in general about the South Asian cities which are there in this subcontinent, Indian subcontinent. Now, Film songs blare out from the radios, car horns sound, bicycle, bell rings, stray crowds, etc. So here he is also talking about the film songs. Now, when he's talking about the film songs, he is talking about the Bollywood basically, because there also Bollywood is liked, and Bollywood movies or music is listened in by the Nepali population. So he is talking about that one, but he has not described in particular that which are the film songs are there. Nepali film industry is there, but it is very small. So I believe that when he's talking about film songs, he's talking about the songs of Bollywood. Similarly, he's talking about stray cows, because that you can get in Delhi also. There you are, there you have motorcycles also. The vendors are shouting to sell their things. So those things he is describing in particular. Now, here, when he is, as I have already told you, that while describing Nepal's capital, he tries to correlate with the Indian cities. Nostalgia is there. People or is there, that nostalgia, not only nostalgia is there, but at the same time he is trying to show that all the cities are like India, like Bombay, Mumbai you have, or Chennai. Nepal's capital is also the same, and it is, in a way, he is trying to show or depict that if you are in Nepal, it is not that it is an alien land, or you are coming to a very new land, which is totally different. It is the same way it is there, whether the customs, whether the traditions, everything we are talking about, you are going to be finding those things in Nepal also. Now, street shopping, he is describing the reason because he has himself indulged in street shopping, for example. So like in India, when a tourist is out, when he is in Bombay, Pune or Nagpur or Ahmedabad or any other place, people indulge in street shopping. So the same thing is there when we are talking about Kathmandu. So the people are that is the reason is there that he's making a correlation between the two. Now, this is the most important part, homesickness. Why? Because these are the lines taken from the chapter, and if you are going to read it, I consider what route I should take back home. If I were propelled by enthusiasm for travel per se, I would go by bus and train to Patna, then sail up the Ganges, past Banaras to Allahabad, then up the Yamuna, past Agra to Delhi, so on and so forth. Then at the end you are going to find that when you going to read the chapter, that I enter a Nepal Airlines office and buy a ticket for tomorrow's flight. Now, why I have used the term homesickness? The reason because at the end of the day, the person who, wherever he is, he wants to get to his home, because that is a place where he belongs. He had the idea that he will not be tired, and he is going to go to Delhi via Varanasi to Allahabad, from via Agra to Delhi. He was thinking that one, but he was unable to do so because he was very exhausted. So for that reason, he decided that directly taking the flight from Kathmandu to Delhi, he's thought. Now, when he is describing the Banaras, Allahabad or Agra or this one, he wanted to visit the place, especially Banaras and Allahabad, for religious purpose, that how religion is practiced in those parts of the in those parts which are the part of India is there. Agra he wanted to go because Taj Mahal is there. So it was a religious come tourist journey here, we can say. And if you are going to look at, he has used the word homesick, and at the same time he has used today is the last day of August. Now, today is the last day of August means that now this is the last day. I want to take the flight. I want to meet my family. I want to meet my relative. I cannot live without them. So that's why he is using such type of words, so that he can go and visit can go home and visit his parents or family. Solace. This is the most important part when you are going to read this particular book the chapter, that I look at the flute seller standing in a corner of the square near the hotel. In his hand is a pole with an attachment at the top from with 50 or 60 bansuris. So he's describing flute, for example. Continuing, he is comparing the flute, that the sound of music. Here, when he is talking about the flute, he is not describing the instrument. He is not describing the instrument. He is describing that particular instrument. For example, what the sound is coming out from the flute, because that is meditative and that is giving solace. Solace means that peace. Now, he has seen the traffic noise or this one and he was fed up with that one. So, for that reason, he is talking about, for example, the solace which is there. For example, the meditativeness, peace which he gets when he is listening to the music. At the same time, when you are going to, for example, when you are going to read this particular chapter, he is comparing flute, that the instrument is the same, somewhere else it is used in a different manner, somewhere else it is used in a different manner. So in that way, the basic purpose of a flute, of that particular instrument, is to produce music, so that from that music which soothes the soul. So for that reason, he has specially devoted 1 or 2 paragraphs on flute only, so that the people, the reader, for example, can understand the importance of music. Because earlier also he talked about the film music. If you are going to read the chapter, you the film music, because some people who are not acquainted with classical music, or they are in the popular culture, for example, they are going to depend on the film music to get themselves elated. So what Vikram Seth very well knew, that that the importance of flute and the importance of music. That's why he is describing it in detail. Universal culture. Now, this is the most important part is there, because flute is played in many ways. It is not that in India it is called bansuri, the same the flute in Western society, it is called flute. So it is there in many ways. But he is propagating universal culture. The reason, because at the end of the day, the music which is coming out from that particular piece of instrument, for example, is soothing the soul. And every human being, every human person who is there, he is ultimately, when he is calm and quiet, he will have the positive energy, and through positive energy he can contribute to life, for example, or he can make positive contribution to the country. So that's why he is talking about the universal culture. Now, here again he is describing that, for example, there is no culture that does not have its flute. Now he is giving the comparison in Japanese, what is called in South American country places, the flute, how the flute is there, or how high pitched flute in China is there. So he is describing that one to that everywhere the instrument is there. So every person is really one. First they are human being, then they are something else. So in a way he is propagating humanity. Now there you are going to find, when you are going to see that there is a kind of a comparison also between Hinduism and Buddhism. For example, Buddhist shrines has a sense of stillness. Why he is talking the sense of stillness? The reason, less crowd is there. Since there is less crowd is there, so for that reason he is talking about that he likes more of a Buddhism than Hinduism, because least people are practicing and you are getting more space there. So might be there that he is talking. At the same time, he is talking about the Tibetan immigrants when he is talking about Buddhism is there. So why he is talking about the Tibetan immigrants? That it is not that the Buddhism is practiced in India also, it is practiced by other people also. And a comparison is there, the level of quietness is there, because in Pashupatinath temple he may not be able to meditate fully. So that's why he may be liking Buddhism. The other perspective is there, that here we can see that he is more of a Westerner than an Indian, because when he is comparing, when he is making a comparison, he has a Western eye in comparison rather than have the Indianness in it. I'm not criticizing him, it is his perspective is there, but it is there that now he maybe that he has written this particular book keeping his western readers in mind, so that's why he is making a comparison between Hinduism and Buddhism. Thank you very much.